I hope everyone gets to have a Jungkook to their Jimin or a Jimin to their Jungkook. Not someone identical to you, but someone who moves on the same wavelength. Someone who knows what you'll enjoy before you say it out loud. Someone who remembers how you like your food, your pace, your silence. Jimin and Jungkook aren't synced because they are the same. They are synced because they pay attention. Jimin researches experiences Jungkook will love, and Jungkook cooks the way Jimin likes without making it a big deal. It's instinctive, unforced, and deeply familiar. Their bond isn't loud, but it is constant. And here are 10 things you might have missed about how Jimin and Jungkook move through the world together, as we've seen it in Are You Sure Season 2. They came out of the military tighter. What could have broken them ended up strengthening them. Even before they enlisted, Jin, their bandmate, already warned them that the military has a way of wrecking friendships. People who've known each other their entire lives end up fighting once they are forced in the same rigid system, the same schedule, the same lack of privacy. And it's not even about conflict all the time. It's often about contrast. One person adapts quickly, the other struggles. One becomes well liked, and the other feels invisible. Familiarity turns claustrophobic, and space disappears. And unlike real life, there's no option to step away for a breather. Not even married couples are expected to exist without personal space, yet in the military, that's exactly what's required if you enlist together, just like what Jimin and Jungkook did. Jimin and Jungkook, however, came out the other side closer and tighter. The fact that they suggested a trip, that they were proactive about planning it, says a lot. 18 months together didn't make them crave distance. If anything, when it was time to rest and reset and return to their rhythm as artists, they chose each other to get them back in shape. And that is not a small thing. Their depth. Subtitling for a general audience is always a balancing act. Some nuance is naturally untranslatable. But the challenge becomes sharper when translations are designed for viewers who won't pause or rewind or sit with a line long enough to unpack what's actually being said. I am fortunate enough to have a Korean community that helps bridge those gaps, and one thing that consistently gets lost is depth. Yes, Jimin and Jungkook joke around constantly, but threaded through that playfulness are moments of quiet, reflective thought that don't always survive translation. One moment that stood out was when Jimin was driving while Jungkook rode a bike. Jimin reflected that travel isn't the reason for living, but moments like that make him grateful to be able to do what they do and be at a stage in their life where they can actually afford it emotionally and materially. He added that he wants to share as many of those moments with Jungkook. But even when they are apart, Jimin hopes that Jungkook can still feel it on his own. The subtitles flatten this into something closer to I wish Jungkook was actually here in this car with me, when in fact he was actually talking about something deeper and broader. Jungkook had similar moments. While walking to the lake, he talked about the sunlight breaking through the trees. It was translated as him simply admiring nature, but he was actually describing how one element interrupting another creates unexpected beauty. How contrast itself is what makes the scene meaningful. Listening closely is a reminder that these aren't just idols speaking casually on a trip. These are artists with heightened sensitivities, the same kind that keep their work open to reinterpretation years after it is released. The little things. Love shows itself less in grand gestures and more in repetition, in the small, almost boring acts that happen without announcement. That's where the bond of Jimin and Jungkook becomes more pronounced. What looks cute on screen is often something more domestic. Familiarity, anticipation, care that doesn't ask to be acknowledged. Jungkook checking on Jimin after paragliding, touching his head lightly as he asks how he's feeling, is a quiet way of saying, I know that was a big deal for you. Tell me you're okay. Jimin, on the other hand, hovering in the kitchen, helping however he can. That's his way of saying, I want to be helpful. I know you do a lot for me. Just let me know what I can do. And there are other moments. Jungkook placing food on Jimin's plate, even cutting the meat for him. Jimin saving money so Jungkook can buy whatever he wants. Jungkook looking forward to one last private night together in Switzerland. Cameras off. Jimin immediately stepping in to plan once he notices Jungkook getting stressed. None of those things is flashy. All of it is consistent. The way they process things, complete opposites. Watching how they solve problems is endlessly entertaining because their approach are totally different. Jungkook tends to go straight through an issue, sometimes by brute force, and Jimin looks for a workaround, a little bit more strategic. On the water in Switzerland, Jimin tied a board to the raft so it wouldn't drift away. Jungkook simply lifted a board and put it on the raft. Problem solved. Different philosophy. Before games, Jimin calculated preparation time almost exactly, down to the last second, and Jungkook just guessed widely and adjusted later. In Vietnam, Jimin learned how to say thank you and how bargaining works, and Jungkook just told Jimin what he wanted and waited. When Jungkook felt overwhelmed by having to lead, Jimin quietly took over the research and planning. This really is not about who's capable or who's smarter. It's simply about which parts of their personality surface when they are together. Dynamics, and how naturally they compensate for each other. They match each other's freak and each other's geek. They know how to make each other laugh, and they know when to let the other take the lead. When Jungkook asked for a bottle of water after walking the streets of Switzerland, Jimin told him to say it cutely. Jungkook pretended to be annoyed, only to do it 3 times anyway, laughing the entire time. When Jimin tried to help by cutting something for Jungkook and made a mess of it, Jungkook laughed instead of correcting him. And there are also quieter moments. Jungkook asking why train tracks use both steel and wood, deferring to Jimin for directions or research without hesitation. And who would forget that one moment when they were informed that they were the ones who were going to take the lead to find their new accommodation? Jungkook simply looked at the staff and told them they're all grown up. And Jimin just agreed with him. And who would forget their chili pepper crime? Perfectly executing a heist. Drastically different, strangely in sync. Their differences are obvious. One loves heights and then the other gravitates towards water. One enjoys riding and the other barely likes driving. One packs everything, the other almost nothing. But those differences don't divide them. They actually expand their shared world. Jimin gives Jungkook directions while biking without a map, and Jungkook joins Jimin snorkeling, while Jimin faces paragliding despite his fear of heights. Jimin bargains. Jungkook lets him win games to shorten his digital detox. Jungkook enjoys adventures, thrills, while Jimin longs for simple things like having a beer outside a pub. Jimin ended up facing his fear of heights, and Jungkook ended up experiencing the impossibility of the ordinary because of Jimin. Yes, they do have a lot in common, like their shared love for memes, but they do not mirror each other. They complement. They care in different languages. Jungkook's care tends to be physical. Jimin's is emotional. That doesn't mean Jungkook lacks emotional depth or that Jimin avoids physical care. It's just where each other naturally leans. Jungkook cooks for Jimin, prepares food the way Jimin likes, keeps an eye on him in the water and while walking. This has been consistent across years of content. In New Zealand, Jungkook hiked a mountain just so he could bring back a pack of snow for Jimin. In Jeju, Jungkook specifically asked the staff to bring ingredients of a dish he wanted to cook for Jimin. This time, he cooked pasta 3 times in one night for Jimin, and Jimin creates space for Jungkook to talk. In New Zealand, Jungkook's quiet reflections became diary entries with Jimin as the listener. We've also seen Jungkook seek him out after performances or share thoughts that might seem small but clearly matter. In Switzerland, when Jungkook talked about the poppy crush he had when he went to the US to study dance, Jimin did not dismiss it or dramatize it. He was simply present. He listened. And he made sure that Jungkook feels that he shares the fondness. Jimin, in fact, made sure to ask the editors to keep that part. Sharing worlds. We've seen this dynamic before, even in season one. In Jeju, Jimin planned an entire day of activities from wall climbing to go karting because he knew Jungkook would enjoy them. Not because they were his preferences, but because he understood Jungkook's. That instinct becomes even more pronounced in season two. Jimin is more proactive, suggesting bungee jumping, paragliding, parasailing, and even carefully choosing restaurants and specific dishes for Jungkook to try. Many of these aren't things Jimin would naturally choose for himself. Paragliding, in particular, was never his comfort zone due to his fear of heights. But he does it anyway, because it's something that Jungkook wants to experience. At the same time, Jungkook finds joy in doing things he openly admits he wouldn't usually do simply because he's doing them with Jimin. It was Jimin who suggested going to a pub for a drink, even sitting outside, something that feels ordinary elsewhere but isn't an option for them in Korea for obvious reasons. That choice led to one of the deepest and warmest conversations we see in the show. Jungkook talking about that poppy crush without embarrassment or defensiveness. Jimin responds by opening up about relearning the foundation of singing. Different topics, same emotional register, both trusting the moment and each other. A glimpse beyond the two of them. We've long known this bond extends beyond just the two of them. In Run BTS, Jungkook's mom told Jimin she loved him and even cooked seaweed soup for Jimin's birthday. Here, we see Jungkook telling Jimin's dad, I love you, and Jimin calls Jungkook's friends by their nicknames. Fans have even posted Jungkook spending time with Jimin's friends. Their worlds seem to be more integrated than we thought. And no, these aren't big gestures, but they definitely are signs of comfort. Big or small moments, equal weight. They share big experiences paragliding, snorkeling, parasailing. Jungkook encourages Jimin through his fear of heights, then stays close afterward, making space for him to process it. But they're just as content doing nothing spectacular, sitting in a boat, watching scenery, drifting into a conversation about animals being both geniuses and idiots, walking, making acrostic poems, feeding birds, taking each other's photos. Jungkook even says it outright. He doesn't love traveling or going place to place. He just loves the company of Jimin. And Jimin is his constant. In the same breath, Jimin challenged himself to be able to share those moments with Jungkook. Jungkook definitely inspires him to push himself further. I can't pinpoint a single favorite moment. I can't pick a moment or an activity or a scene that would best describe or represent the relationship of Jimin and Jungkook. I think what really sticks to me is the pattern, the way they move towards each other, they gravitate towards each other, the way they care for each other without having to announce it or without having to be dramatic about it. I think their bond is more built on consistency and reliability. It's built on attention, the conscious kind of attention, on noticing what the other needs and being willing to give it and actually giving it. And because they're so different as people, the tendencies for them to expand their world because there's so much for them to share with each other and there is so much capacity to receive. what the other is giving. Watching them kind of feels like watching something rare, like once in a generation, maybe, or maybe just once period, because it's really a relationship I feel that has survived pressure and routine and proximity and separation and success and failures. And then it emerged stronger, more steady. I think it's the kind of bond that doesn't need to prove itself anymore. I think they know where they stand. And probably that's why it resonates so deeply for a lot of people, because it's not dramatic, it's not perfect, it's not even glossy. It's simply real. They show you what it looks like when two people genuinely choose each other again and again and again and again, both in the big moments and the ordinary moments. I would love to do a part two. If you want me to, let me know. There's so much more to explore. I can be a bit more specific. And also, after, as I've said, I have a very close Korean community, and they explain to me, they're very patient in explaining to me the nuances of the language. They explain to me their culture, how important the tonality is, stuff that is just sometimes impossible to translate unless you really have somebody like them who's sitting with you and they have the patience to actually explain everything. But we're missing a lot. Um, that we miss the depth, the intellect of these people, and even the depth of the bond of the two. If only we can have that someone with us, right? That would really be patient in explaining, then we will better appreciate how special this relationship or this bond that these two have. Would love to hear your thoughts though. Leave them in the comment section below. As always, you can say whatever it is that you want to say. Just please do so respectfully. And as I've said, I can do a part two. Let me know if you want me to do that. Also, please consider donating to the channel. The QR code is on your screen right now, and all the funds are being ported to our online magazine. Please visit that, asianentertainmentandculture.com. It is on a soft launch right now, but we are going to do a formal launch by next year. Also, please follow me on X, Instagram, but more importantly on Patreon, because that's where the community is. It's fun. We're now planning for the concert, assuming that we are all going to get a ticket. So join us there if you want. We do have a free tier just in case you want to try things out first. And also, if you are a member of Patreon or YouTube, I do have a once a week live stream, also exclusive content. They don't go public. So please consider supporting me there as well. That's it. Thank you so much. Please like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification button. That will be a big help. But please also don't forget to share the video, because that's going to push the algorithm to recommend this more. Thank you so much. Till next time.